Chatterboxes. This is my review for Marriage Boot Camp Season 17, Episode 5. If you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So it starts off with where we left off with Davon and Hazel. They're, going back and forth, arguing with one another. Hazel in her confessional still delusional as ever. Like I said, I don't know what alternate universe she's on, but it's not planet Earth. And she was saying how, his behavior and the way he responded to her is letting her know more and more that he just using her for clout. Hazel, no one's using you for clout. You have no clout. Let's be real. Let's be real. Then Davon, he pleading his case saying how he's not a violent person. He just defend himself. Davon, you was not defending yourself in that manner because she wasn't hitting you and things like that. You grabbed her first. You didn't have to use force to get what you wanted from her, but you did. So you got a little violent streak in you as well. So it comes out that Hazel took a pregnancy test and it came back positive, but she's worried because she's bleeding too. So Dr. Ish and the producers and everything, they got her together where they sent her and Davon off and they went, to the hospital to see what's going on. So as they, they left, so the other couples had to stay behind and they were doing this challenge where they had them locked up in each of their rooms, and it was basically like they had to do it was like an escape room type situation. So they had to do the clues. They had to work together. Now, each one of the partners was blindfolded at various points of the game. And the person who had the blindfold on had to search for the clue. And the other person that wasn't blindfolded had to direct the other person. So it basically was they had to actually work together and trust one another. Vado and Tahiry, they did pretty good. They were able to... Well, she said she realized that they were able to, she was able to depend on him, and she learned a lot about herself as far as patience and things like that. Shonda and Willie, she was pissed off because, she found out in that exercise that he actually slept with 12 different women during the period of their relationship, and he never once mentioned that before, the number, and she said that she didn't really want to hear the number, but hey, like Dr. Ish said, without this exercise, they would have never even got to the bottom of it. So I guess it was a good thing that, they can kind of work from here. But 12, she was like, damn, that's one bitch per year. I'm like, damn, Willie? I don't even think they really in a marriage at this point. Willie just disgusting at this particular point. And so actually another couple, Corrupt and Tony, they were actually working good together. They actually figured it out. I think they were the last couple out, but they were good. And Corrupt seemed to have like a sober mind this episode, and I don't know what's going to happen towards the end, but right now he seemed pretty sober and in a good space. Now Phaedra asks, now she's starting to irritate me, because if you're not interested in this man, why would you even go to marriage boot camp with him? You should just break it off with him. She didn't even do the damn exercise. She was in the room, sleep the whole goddamn on time, and at the end helped him out a little bit. And he was like, because he was trying to get the heck out of the room. Like, he was like, he felt like he was alone, and a part of the drill is to see if you guys can work together. Because even Tahiry said, like, when he was coming out, he was like, did you do it on your own? He was like, well, I felt like it. So Tahiry said to him, essentially, you alone in a relationship, and you are like, Phaedra, like, come on. And Phaedra gonna say, well, she know Dr. Ish is gonna be a little mad at her because she wasn't taking the exercise serious. She was like, but she got caught up on her sleep. Like, Phaedra, come on. Like, you kind of irritated me in the situation. So as they were able to get out the rooms, the couples were able to go into like the living room area, and they still was able to watch the other couples that were still in the rooms, get out. So like I said, Willie and Shauna was the first couple. Then it was Tahiry and Vado. Then we had Phaedra and Medina, and then it was, I'm wrong, I think it was Corrupt and Tony that came after Vado and Tahiry, and then we had Phaedra and Medina. So like I said, Tahiry and Davon, they're at the hospital getting checked out, but the couples didn't know at the time that was what's going on. So Willie kind of stormed off when Shauna had told Tahiry that, the number was 12. I guess he didn't like to be smacked in the face with his reality, so he kind of stormed off. And Shauna was still like sulking. So when all the crew came and they was asking where Willie was at, again the number came out. So Corrupt basically was saying that y'all, we gonna have to put into practice what Dr. Ish told us. Don't worry about yesterday. That's the past. We have to deal with the present and move forward. He said, and that's your husband. Go be with your husband. And Shauna was saying, in her confessional, she said, yeah, Corrupt, sometimes he don't make sense in how he get a delivery, but, he means good in what he say. Yeah, Corrupt actually did. I think they look up to Corrupt. He's the older guy. He's respected, in the music industry. They look up to him. And when he's of a clear mind, they can gravitate to what he's saying. So she actually went and joined Dr. Ish and her husband, Willie, because Dr. Ish was talking to Willie about, how, the number came out and how did it make him feel and things and of that nature. And he was saying, like, what is it that make you go, like, cheat with those other women? What's triggering it? So Willie basically was saying that Shauna always got an attitude. It's always, her arguing and yelling at him and stuff. So he was like, so he escaped that, like, when he on the road. Now, apparently they got married at the, like, when he, I guess they had a baby at that point. So it was like a new baby. He just had started popping with day 26, and then he got married. So it's like everything at one time. That was a lot. So as they were talking, Shauna had came in, and Dr. Ish, had her sit down. He was like, well, since we talking about you, you might as well, cop a seat. So she said that she felt like they never really had a marriage. And I don't know, like, 12 women, y'all been together, y'all been married 12 years. She right, one woman per year, like, and then Willie gonna say, well, out of 1 million girls that I could have had, it was only 12. But what Willie don't understand, if you saying you could have got 1 million hoochies in the bed and you only selectively picked 12, he don't realize to a woman that makes her think, well, what was so special about those particular women? You know what I mean? Like, you passed up all these other women for these particular group of women. Like, what's that about? So Willie, you kind of just stuck your own foot in your mouth with that, and you ain't even realize it. Listen, Shauna ain't leaving Willie, and Willie ain't leaving Shauna. At least not right now, because if she stuck with him with all the fidelity and he stuck by her for revenge, cheating, listen, they like the chaos. They like it. They really do. So Davon and Hazel end up coming back. So apparently she is pregnant. And they want to take it easy because I guess she had a miscarriage at one point. Listen. She says that she ready to be a mom. But Dr. Ish, I guess it's not him really throwing shade. But they keep on say, because she's a woman of a certain age. And Hazel still thinks she got it. So it's kind of comical when he keep on saying she a woman of a certain age. Because let Hazel tell it she's still, bopping and dropping it with these young girls. Y'all know not long ago she was arguing with the city girls. Talking about they was trying to be like her there. But it's kind of comical, when Dr. Ish keeps saying, reminding us that she not no spring chicken anymore. So she was saying how, she just don't want to get too excited, and she really do want the baby. But Davon got to slow up with the temper, because Dr. Ish asked him, was he, ready to be a dad? And he was like, yeah. He was like, well, you're going to have to stop with all the dramatics, you grabbing her phone and doing this. You can't do all that. Because she said, well, what? Because Hazel said, yeah, because what if I had a bigger belly, you grab me, and then something happened to the baby? Yes, like, keep your hands to your goddamn self. Contain your anger. Don't go grabbing at nobody's cell phone. Hazel, stop antagonizing them. Y'all just stop it. Stop it. Now, we all know that they end up having a baby. Hazel, carried to the turn. She had a beautiful little baby girl. But, damn, like, get it together. So, after that, Dr. Ish, he gathered all the couples into the common area. And they, every episode they got to do like an exercise. Now they did one earlier when they did like the escape room, but now they doing another one. So the premise of this is they all have issues with their with their significant others. Like some of them shut down, some of them stay quiet. One of Hazel's is she started laughing to avoid confrontation. The list goes on what their issues are. So I think Vado, he get aggressive. So the objective of the game is they all get, aside from Hazel, because Hazel is pregnant now, so she can't get shocked. So they all get like these bracelets, and each time they all get the bracelets, and then they get a list. It's like 3 things on the list. So Vado, he knows what Tahiry triggers are, and vice versa. So like say if Tahiry shut down, she doesn't know that that's one of the lists on one of the things on Vado's list, but he does. So he can shock her if she display that behavior, and vice versa. So they all were getting like the gifts, they were all getting the packages and stuff like that. So Hazel was saying, oh, this not my type of thing. I'm like diamonds. I don't like ankle monitors. And Shonda was saying how she never she not materialistic, she never got a gift. So Willie like, oh, you never got a gift. Like, come on with all that. So listen, this got intense. This game got intense. When I tell you to say the very least, this shit went left. So Hazel couldn't wait to shock Davon. One of the things that was on Hazel's list about him is that he keeps quiet. So they were all in the kitchen cooking and preparing food, congregating and talking, and he's not saying anything. So Hazel shocked them. Then we see Corrupt and Tony. Tony said she could tell he trying to stay on his best behavior because he was doing everything right. They was cooking. I guess they looked like they was making tacos. He was like, do you want this, babe? Do you want that? Can you do this? Can you do Corrupt was trying not to get shocked by any means necessary. And I say, hey, do what you need to do to play the game and come out unscathed, okay? Because he surely played his part in that moment. So then we have Tahiry and Vado, because they all moved from the kitchen into like the patio area where they about all eating their tacos and things like that. So Vado and Tahiry, they like at a table away from the other group, and they were trying to have a conversation. And she was like throwing little shots at them early on when they were talking about the escape room. I think she said something to the effect that, she had to do everything on her own. So she started shocking him first. And he was like, see, that's the problem. I could have shocked her, 1,600 times. He was like, with the talking back and the eye rolling, which she was doing all of that. And she was aggressive when she was talking to him. And she started yelling at him, and she was like, well, if anything on list that says that you shocked me because I walk away. Well, I guess that's what you're going to do because I'm walking away. So she got up and she walked away. And he was like, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. So she didn't want to really hear it. Now, don't get me wrong. Tahiry, I'm not saying that Tahiry deserved anything that she got in this episode, but what I will say is I can see how she can be part of the problem as well when it comes to Vado, because she not letting him get his words out. She's over talking him. She's very aggressive. He's a dick, I must agree too, but you can see where that breakdown at in both of their with both of them. All things don't just point to him. They both playing a part in the destruction of that relationship. And he probably ain't the person for you, especially the move that he pulled, later on in this episode. So I would just say y'all both need to cut y'all losses and just step off, because he definitely was out of pocket for the shit that he pulled. And Tahiry, you was out of pocket too. I'm just gonna call it how it is. Tahiry sitting up there saying, "Can I put that around his penis?" Talking about the bracelet. Child, Tahiry, please hush. So anyway, we have Willie and Shauna. They're talking, and Willie said that Shauna, she kind of Shonda says that Willie avoids the conversation, so he got a shock, and then she got a shock because I guess she shuts down too. So he's saying how he really want to be in the relationship, but sometimes he feel like Shauna just don't care. And you know what? I heard that before in a relationship too. Like, it's like the guy put you through so much change and so many hoops, challenges, and things like that, and then part of you don't care anymore, and then they blame you for you protecting yourself, like with your heart and stuff like that. So it's like sometimes in certain situations, like you can't win for losing. Like you put a person through all these changes, they guard themselves, and then they getting blamed for how they react to you because they are protecting their own self. So it's like toxic behavior. I mean, it may be toxic on the other person behalf too, because you can just easily walk away from the situation, but whatever. So Phaedra, I will say I don't miss her on Housewives of Atlanta, but she is funny because Phaedra gonna say all this physical pain is giving me anxiety. Now Phaedra, she was like, she ain't trying to get shocked, so she gonna stay with her best behavior. She not giving Medina any reason to shock her. She even made a joke. She said, "I know how to get information." She even putting that big old booty on his lap. He think he gonna get something on. Goddamn well, Phaedra ain't giving it up, but she know how to play the game. But Medina put that goddamn buzzer down on the table, and she is out. She is in the clear. I will say, Phaedra, she can manipulate that Medina. She really can. Because Medina gonna say he didn't shock her because she was on her best behavior, and he said he don't really ascribe to the notion of having to shock her for her to fall in line. Well, she fell in line because of the threat of being shocked. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a disconnect there in your relationship, Medina, and you need to figure out what it is and figure out if you want to proceed with the relationship, because Phaedra don't seem like she all that interested in you. Maybe she want a Paolo back. I don't know. So we see Hazel. She talking to Davon. She ended up shocking him because he was just being quiet and really wasn't receptive to the conversation. He ended up squirting Hazel with the water gun because, like I said, she was pregnant, so she can't get shot. So they gave him a water gun to get her when she do something that's on the list. So the reason why he squirted her is because she kind of laughed to deflect from what was going on between the two of them. Now we have Vado and Tahiry. They still going at it. They're still going at it. He asking her to come here. She telling him no. She talking about she want to know what the exercise was so she can, effectively be able to do it. All this nonsense, Tahiry. Evidently, you're doing something on the list that is making him keep shocking you. Because it seems to me as if she thinking that he just going off the deep end, shocking her, and she's doing nothing to, um, she's doing nothing to she's to warrant the shocks. Yes, you are. Tahiry, you're out of pocket. Even Willie said that. Come on now. Like, you doing too goddamn much. Even Phaedra was like that. You know, she's going off the deep end. She was like, even if you go into a forest with a lighter, expect a daggone fire. Absolutely. Expect a damn flyer. Tahiry going off the deep end. Like, she took off the bracelet. And, you know, she's saying he just zapping her for no reason, which he had plenty of reason to be zapping her about. And then she gonna keep saying, time is money and you don't pay the bills. Stop embarrassing that man in front of these people. Keep insulting him. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's not going to end well. It's not. It's just not. So she storms off. Vado walks off. He's talking to Tony and Davon, and he was saying to Tony, "You see that?" So Tony said to him, "You'd be surprised how people will react when you don't say nothing." Absolutely. Some people don't even like when you calm, cool, and collected. They try to get a reaction out of you. Tony hit that on the nail right there. And Davon, he co-signed everything that Tony was saying, and they both was right. Like, just calm down. Don't let her get you riled up. So then they all go into like the kitchen area, and Willie was trying to, talk to Tahiry and was like, you gotta chill out, this and the other. She was like, I was trying to get a reaction out of my partner, and going off the deep end again. And she was saying how, he was shocking her so much that she had got like a bruise on her arm. And then Tahiry is acting as if she was innocent in the matter, that he was just randomly shocking you. Because that's what Willie was saying to her. Well, you said, you told me to trust the process. You need to trust the process. But like I said, she under the impression that he was just shocking her willy-nilly. And he was like, no. So she was like, right now, if I had that on and you were shocking me, I probably would be in wrong. What I'm about to do, I'm probably being wrong. She started throwing the goddamn apples at him. She started literally throwing apples at him. Literally throwing apples at him. So I don't know what you could tell something is brewing. You really can. The energy is thick up in there. Between those two, it's a train wreck ready to happen. So Dr. Ish brought them all the couples back into like the common area where now they going to discuss, the things that took place during the game, and he want to know, did they each realize why they were being shocked, and and everything to that effect. So Shonda, Dr. Ish said that she actually should have been shocked way more than what Willie did. And Willie sometimes, avoid this situation because he don't want the confrontation. So he shut down all that stuff up. So they got to work on that because they all realize they got bad communication skills. All of the couples. All of the couples. So Dr. Ish was talking to all the couples. Like I said, Hazel and Davon figured out why they both was getting zapped. She avoids confrontation by laughing. He, gets quiet. And like Hazel said, like if they want to have babies, they got to learn how to effectively communicate with one another. Just, for the sanctity of their situation. So then we have Phaedra and Medina. Dr. Ish was talking to them two, and he was saying how, she played the game right that time, but what happened earlier that day. So she was saying nothing. He was like, you wasn't asleep? And she was like, yeah. So he basically said to her, well, it's like you giving up on a relationship. And he was like, that comes from your ex relationship, and the hardest part in a divorce is if that other person gave up on you. So you kind of not don't want to put that kind of time and effort into your current situation because you don't want that rejection. And Phaedra normally had stuff to say. She couldn't really dispute what he was saying. Like, I guess that was a painful time in her life, you know, dealing with like the rejection, probably the public humiliation. She is a professional woman, so she has her guard up. But like Medina said, like, she doesn't need to have that guard up with him. Like, she doesn't. Like, he's not going to abuse her. So Phaedra, you got some stuff going on. You got some healing. Maybe you need to get some therapy outside of marriage boot camp and get off TV and really get deep down into what's going on with you, because you got this good man next to you. Well, he seems to be a good man because we don't really know the true him, but from what I see, he seems to be a pretty good man, and you don't want to mess it up based on Apollo. Okay, you just don't. So Dr. Ish got to Tahiry and Vado. Now, Vado was being extra quiet when they were all in, you know, the common area. He was being extra quiet. So he said to those two, do y'all understand what went on? So Tahiry was like, well, I think that he was being extra, he was trying to get me to react. He was trying to entice me to, you know, be extra, to have y'all looking, you know, y'all, which is the other couples, looking at her all crazy. Something in him just snapped, and he got up and he like gripped her up. And then everybody else that's looking there all stunned, none of the guys flinched, none of the guys attempted to help her or nothing. I mean, he didn't hit her, but he did grip her up. So that's a violent gesture all in itself. So we not about to dance, you know, around that. But he must have really took what Tahiry was saying real personal, because he wasn't feeling her. He was about to take her goddamn head off. And the only man in the house that jumped up to her defense was Dr. Ish. Like, I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all think about the situation. I'm going to leave that there. That's all I got for this episode. If you guys like the content,